Hello, everyone. My name is Abi Muthumari, and today I will be presenting our work on bridging resource settings by translating high-resource pediatric traumatic brain injury pathways into resource-stratified clinical guidance. I think we are all in agreement that pediatric surgical clinical guidance must be resource adaptive in order to ensure that children receive evidence-based care regardless of where they are injured. This is especially critical in global settings, where delays in the management of conditions are associated with increased morbidity and mortality. And this is especially true in TBI management. At the same time, variability in training, workforce, and resource availability directly shapes care delivery. This highlights the need for resource-stratified clinical algorithms that are usable across diverse settings. Our goal of this project was to develop a resource-adaptive traumatic brain injury management framework for children. In order to do this, we conducted an evidence review of pediatric TBI pathways across resource settings. We included high resource guidance as well as low resource guidance. And after doing this, we were able to extract 124 discrete actionable recommendations across various key domains, such as stabilization, imaging, intracranial pressure management, etc., which are listed on this slide. Going back to our high versus low resource guidance, we intentionally selected contrasting guidance. This allowed us to directly compare how guidance is delivered across resource environments. So this is our example of our CHOP pathways, which are from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is a high-resource ICU level care center. And they have the capacity to do detailed neuromonitoring and escalation strategies. In contrast, the MSF guidance reflects low resource and humanitarian settings, which emphasizes basic stabilization of the patient, as well as clinical monitoring and transfer decisions. After doing that, we were able to look at our recommendation counts. We were able to extract and identify 55 recommendations from the severe TBI pathways, 38 from the acute head trauma pathway, and 31 from the MSF guidance, for a total of 124 actionable recommendations. We then map these actions into a resource-stratified framework across 3 levels: basic, intermediate, and advanced. So you can see how by doing this, each step of care is defined based on what resources are available. Importantly, we mapped all of our actions to adult bootstrap domains, and the adult bootstrap project was an example, a key example for us. And we cross-referenced them to pediatric TBI guidelines. This allowed us to define consistent resource tiers and ensure alignment with existing evidence. A key principle in our approach was that we started with both the high and low resource guidance from the onset. This makes our framework inherently adaptable, not something that needs to be retrofitted later on. Through this process, we identified 19 pediatric-specific modifications that are essential to look at. These highlight where pediatric care diverges from adult TBI framework and children management. And these are the examples of various modifications. These differences are critical to ensure safe and appropriate care for all children. In conclusion, we developed a pediatric resource-adaptive TBI framework that is feasible across diverse settings. It reflects both high-resource and low-resource realities, and it establishes the domains and resource tiers needed for future algorithm development. Our next steps are to conduct a Delphi-based expert consensus process to refine this algorithm into fully defined clinical algorithms. This will help standardize decisions such as imaging thresholds, use of hypertonic therapy, and seizure prophylaxis. And here we have listed out some examples of some questions that we could ask in our Delphi survey. And ultimately, our goal is to ensure that every child, regardless of where they are injured, can receive timely, evidence-based traumatic brain injury care. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and I'm looking forward to hearing your questions.